Our MC for today, Christine Van Marter, CEO, Conference Ventures.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Indy Big Data Conference 2015. How is everyone? Good to have you all here. How about another round of applause for the Broad Ripple High School Band? Woo! They got our conference started off on the right note, pun intended. So that's the problem with rear projection. You can't see what's happening out here, but they sounded good. My name is Christine Van Marter. I'm the CEO of Conference Ventures, proud host of the 2015 Indy Big Data Conference, and I'm also one of Conference Ventures' company owners. And previously, I spent more than 10 years at Eli Lilly and Company, the majority as the head of communications worldwide for research and development. I also own my own PR company called Christine Van Marter Consulting, and we introduce products, people, and services in a relatable way to the world. So you might be asking yourself, what are you doing here at a big data conference when the majority of your career was spent in pharmaceuticals? And I can tell you, as part of this journey, I've asked myself that question a couple of times myself. What I realized is that there are a lot of similarities between communications professionals and also public relations professionals and event planners. There are even more similarities between research scientists and big data scientists. So what I've learned is oftentimes all of you working in big data are a little bit more comfortable than an extroverted communications professional like me might be about talking about yourself, and you feel a lot more comfortable talking about your work. In addition, you're often introverted, and so when a communications professional that's extroverted like me comes your way, typically you take a couple of steps back and say, uh-oh, she's gonna ask me a hard question that's gonna make me uncomfortable, like, tell me a little bit about your work, in the same way using non-technical language that you might tell a loved one or a family member or a friend. Am I right about any of that? Maybe. I see some smiles. So as an event planning CEO and company owner, I do feel compelled to tell you, if you're looking for a tip for hosting your next event, for a donation to your local high school band's music department, you too can get talent like that. And in my mind, you're advancing two important causes, your event, as well as helping ensure music stays in local schools. So we were happy to have them today. So moving on, who knows this guy? Few people. Sandeep Alam is an old friend of mine. He's the CEO of ST Logics, one of the presenting sponsors of today's conference, and he's also the CEO of ST Big Data. And Sandeep and I are old friends from back at Lilly, and he approached me when he saw my LinkedIn profile switch over from having worked at Lilly to now being on my own, and he said, hey, how about we do some business together again? So you might be wondering now, how do they know each other? Way back in one of my Lilly assignments, I was responsible for the entire content of Lilly.com, the corporate website. And it didn't take me long to realize that holding together the website by a trouble ticket to the help desk wasn't going to be a sustainable business model. So I was quickly introduced to Sandeep, who also created the Indy Big Data Conference, now in its second year, or version 2.0, as he likes to say. He was already working within Lilly and familiar with the operations in the company website. So I went to my business partners and said, we need to hire this guy. And to Sandeep's credit, he did a great job with the Lilly corporate website, and he went on to grow the Lilly business for the company he was with previously into a multi-million-dollar customer relationship management tool. So when Sandeep called and said, hey, would you and your company plan this conference for me? It was easy to say yes. Learned over the years in working with Sandeep, whether he's reporting to me or I'm reporting to him, that we share similar business philosophies and values. So please make it a point to meet my dear friend today, and you'll hear from him in just a few minutes. So that is certainly enough about me and my background. We have such an exciting day planned for you today. Hopefully you've all had a chance to take a peek at the agenda. Some of the compelling speakers that we have here today are probably much of the reason why you signed up to come to today's conference, and we're certainly glad that you did. But in just a few minutes, you'll hear from Sandeep, and then after that, we have an amazing and incredible expert in big data in Scott Jones. Who all has heard the name Scott Jones? Many, many people in the audience. His name is synonymous with success, having founded Voicemail, Grace Note that powers iTunes, Cha-Cha, and now 1150 Academy, a nonprofit coding academy on the north side of Indianapolis. It's global in reach. And he's going to make an exciting announcement today that I think is going to really generate great momentum throughout today's conference. After that, we're going to hear from the two-term mayor of Indianapolis Mayor Greg Ballard. He stands for inclusion and innovation and healthy choices for Hoosiers, and it's a pleasure to have him here today talking about the state of big data here in Indianapolis. After that, we're going to hear from Eli Collins. He's the chief technologist of Cloudera, one of today's sponsors. He's flown in from Silicon Valley, and as we work to try to build a bridge from Indiana and the surrounding regions to and from Silicon Valley, he's going to show us what big data is, and he's going to tell us what's the right strategy for approaching big data within your company. It's great to have him here. Then later today, I consider TechPoint the trade association of technology. They've got a database of companies, 13,000 strong. The CEO and president of TechPoint's here to speak this afternoon, Mike Langolier. And then finally, Todd Baer in the afternoon. He's a big data lawyer at Barnes & Thornburg. He's going to talk to us about risk mitigation strategies for keeping our data legally protected, both now and well into the future. So in addition to those incredible keynotes and featured speakers, we have an amazing afternoon of speakers. If you've taken a look at the second side of your agenda, those are the breakout session speakers. There are more than 24 CEOs, SVPs, CIOs, CMOs. I'm looking at Jeff Tunn from Goodwill. He's one of the presenters. In his case, he's both CIO and CMO, and he's going to tell you what it means to combine that role and have both marketing and IT reporting to the same person. And that's an important change to watch out for. So CIOs, CEOs, CMOs, SVPs, all with one thing in common: they're big data experts in some aspect of big data. So whether you have a question about how do I store my big data, where do I store my big data, how do I keep it safe? I know we're all worried about it after the Anthem hack, that massive hack of people's data. What's the best we can do to keep our big data stored securely? In addition, what kind of analytics do I need to put on my big data to gain the best business insights and the best marketing that I can possibly do? Those folks are in the breakouts. There's dozens and dozens of them, as I mentioned. Make sure you study that sheet and go to all the sessions that you'd like to attend. And I'd encourage you to invite your colleagues to go to other sessions that you can't be at, and then to compare notes so you get the maximum benefit out of today. So all of today's speakers, keynotes, featured speakers, and breakout speakers, will receive a nice plaque from today's event in acknowledgement of their participation, but we recognize the agenda is robust, so we don't want you to have to lose time in sessions, in the Career Expo, the Poster Challenge, or the exhibit hall, or networking with one another. So we'll be presenting the awards to the breakout speaker session separately later this afternoon. So, speaking of the exhibit hall, who's been there now? So, okay, still plenty of people. I'm not wasting my time talking about it. Let me back up. Pleased to present 3 firsts at today's Indy Big Data Conference. First of all, as many of you may already know, this is the only conference like its kind in the Midwest, so we're thrilled to have you here. Secondly, the first ever Big Data Career Expo is taking place as part of the exhibit hall. And this came to us as a wonderful suggestion from Michael King. Raise your hand, Michael. He is the Director of Business Enterprise Intelligence for Cummins Incorporated. He's also a member of the 2015 Advisory Committee, you can see mentioned in your agenda. And Cummins is working to staff up their big data capabilities. So they have a booth, 2 recruiters on site, and they're asking anyone who's interested to come by and talk with them about a potential future at Cummins, both in big data, IT, or even beyond. So make sure you stop by Cummins. And also, Michael, Purdue University, Indiana University, Allegiant, and Microsoft will be presenting from 3 to 3:45 this afternoon as a panel, a curriculum that they have created, rolling out a big data curriculum to the state of Indiana and beyond. I'd encourage you to take a look at it because I think it's going to transform things for Indiana and surrounding states. In addition, Eli Lilly and Company, who I've mentioned, is part of the Career Expo. 2 great companies, great benefits. I can speak for them myself. Please stop by the Lilly booth, also with recruiters on site. Same goes for Teradata, Apparatus, HC1, and Smarter HQ. All here with recruiters. And what does this tell us? Having the ability to have the first ever Big Data Career Expo. We're hiring, the field's growing, right? And the compensation is great. So thanks to all these companies for participating in today's first ever Career Expo. Another first, the academic poster session. This is the ability for students, both undergraduate, PhDs, and graduate students to submit through an academic poster, similar to a medical meeting conference poster, what big data means to them. And I can tell you, I've seen the posters, they're incredible, and they're going to be judged by Josette Jones, the Director of Bioinformatics at IUPUI, and Hua-Mei Wu, also Director of Health Informatics at IUPUI. I have that backwards. Josette's in Health Informatics, Hua-Mei is in Bioinformatics, excuse me. They designed the contest, their judges, along with John Qualls, president of 1150 Academy, Scott Jones' company that I just mentioned. And 1150 Academy has generously donated the prizes for today's poster contest: $200 for first place, $100 for second place, and $100 for third place. And I don't know about you, but I could have used $200 or $100 while I was in college. So please stop by, visit the poster session, encourage those students, and I can tell you one of the posters, amazingly, was submitted to us from a sophomore in high school at Park Tudor. Now, they were not eligible to participate or win a prize, but we allowed the poster to be on display just to talk about the incredible talent in Indiana and big data and surrounding communities. Her poster is about tracking familial heritage of breast cancer. So please stop by, take a look, and encourage the students who are on the same career path as all of you. What's the third first? Who knows what's the city of first? My family's here from Kokomo. So they got my joke, but maybe no one else. So welcome to my parents who are here as well, and my cousin and my sister. And none of this could have happened. The conference couldn't be what it is today, elevated to the next level from version 1.0, which happened last year at the JW Marriott for all who were there. Our incredible sponsors that have made everything possible today that I just mentioned and more that you'll see today. Mosier Consulting is our only elephant sponsor. As many of you know, the most famous big data technology or tool is Hadoop, which happens to be an elephant, so we named the sponsorship packages after the jungle of big data terminology. So how about a big round of applause for Mosier Consulting? Thank you. Their sponsorship dollars are going to good use today. It's being spent on your lunch. You'll notice the Mosier Consulting banner over the lunch area. I have heard nothing but great things about this company, and they told me over at the booth that they just won one of the mid-sized company honors for best 100 places to work. And I've heard excellent things about Ty Mosier as they continue to grow. Ty and I learned share the same handyman, and you can trust your handyman with anything. So if my handyman believes in him, I believe in him too. So thanks again to Mosier Consulting. Make sure you thank Ty Mosier for your lunch today. In addition, our other big data jungle animal sponsors, Data Realty, Information Builders, Rook Security, Cloudera. We're grateful for their sponsorship of today's conference. That's in addition to Radware, Violin Memory, Oracle, Kinney Group, EMC Squared, Pivotal, SmartFile, ST Big Data, Isilon, Hortonworks, Barnes & Thornburg, COS Xerox, Platfora, Seaspring, Perseo, Onyalytics, Online Tech, EMCN, and Comcast Business. How about a great round of applause for all these companies? So if I've learned anything over my career, it doesn't matter how much money you make, everybody loves a free gift. Am I right? So inside your bags, you'll find a bingo card. If you haven't looked in your tote bags already, I'd encourage you to do so. Each one of the exhibitors, who many are also sponsors of today's conference, have a bingo ink blotter. Take your bingo card, visit each exhibitor, spend time learning from them, sharing with them what you have to offer, and learning from them what they have to offer you. Make sure you get your card stamped. SmartFile is a free space, so you don't have to get it marked. They're the insert in your tote bag, so make sure you take a look at their material and consider that space marked. Then by 1 p.m., return your completed bingo card to Conference Ventures booth 101. That's my company's booth. And you will be registered to win for a drawing of 3 Fitbit Surges, top-of-the-line Fitbits, and very popular in the Internet of Things at 5 o'clock. So Sandeep and I will be back on stage at 5 o'clock with 3 Fitbit Surges. And we'll do a random drawing at the booth of whoever is going to win those, be the lucky winner of those 3 Fitbit Surges. And here it is. I've got a Fitbit, but it isn't a Surge, and I'm not eligible to win. So I would be an absolute nincompoop if I didn't say thank you to all the team that helped to pull off today's event. As all of you know, nobody can do this alone, so I'd like to say a special thank you to the 2015 Indy Big Data Conference Advisory Committee. As I mentioned, they're listed inside your official program. They help to guide the content, as you heard from the Cummins example at today's conference. So how about a big round of applause for the advisory committee? I think I just did that with my clapping. In addition, I want to thank Catherine Simons. She's the social media and marketing manager for my company, Conference Ventures. She did a great job of getting all the exhibitors organized, registration badges handled. Special thanks to Catherine Simons. In addition, Mike Marshall, who you've heard as the VOG of Voice of God, that's a little G. He's making the announcements. He's with Conference Ventures and Sales. And Corey Downey at my booth, booth 101, also helping with sales. And finally, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Wendy Maple. She is the Vice President of Sales for ST Logix. She basically planned last year's conference without the help of a large staff. This year, with Sandeep asking me to handle the conference, Wendy got to keep just her sales hat on for ST Logix, but she made an incredible amount of time for tireless amounts of questions, repeat questions, conversations to help pull this conference off. So a special, special thanks to Wendy Maple from ST Logix. Thanks, everybody. So with that, I would like to turn the